Welcome to our 100% walkthrough video series for A Link to the Past. This is part 1, obviously, and in this part we're going to start off right off the bat. We're going to get the sword and shield. We're actually going to rescue Princess Zelda, for the first time in this game.
Yes.
And we'll finish this part by escaping from Hyrule Castle.
We actually rescue her up front instead at the very end, which we actually do that at the very...
Spoiler alert.
At the end, yeah, spoiler alert. We do save Zelda in this game, but for Red and I, this video series is actually going to be kind of nostalgic. First of all, Link to the Past is a very nostalgic game. We'll talk about that kind of as we go through this first part and the game, but... For us, you want to go ahead and talk about it? Yeah.
Well, on top of it, when we first started...
I'll talk forever.
I was going to let you there for a second, but when we first started, two guys playing Zelda, we started with A Link to the Past, but all we did was the dungeons.
Yes.
Plus, let's be honest, we didn't know what the heck we were doing.
No,
at the time.
well, a lot of that had to do with the recording device, and like
Very
a lot
true.
of people don't know about this, but behind the scenes, we had a recording device that, like during black screens, it would have a lot of issues with all the audio, so it was really hard to cut the outside the dungeon scene. So when we first started, that's why we did like only dungeons, and we just felt like we needed to come back to this game because we liked it so much.
We did. As a matter of fact, Hick, I know it's your second favorite Zelda game. It's my favorite of all time. So we felt, like you said, we had to do it justice. We had to come back and redo it.
Well, for the longest time, it was my favorite Zelda game. I think I mentioned this before, actually, in our Ocarina of Time commentary, but I went back, I played Ocarina of Time, I was like, I gotta put Ocarina of Time back up here, but for the longest time, I absolutely loved this game.
And just the very start of this game, when you leave your house the first time, and you're in this thunderstorm, like, and it's dark out in Hyrule.
Love the thunderstorm. Oh, we totally forgot to mention it at that time.
We were talking some backstory. We were filling in, like, little two guys playing Zelda story. But it just sets the tone.
Do you want to talk about that, the whole series? We can do that too if you want to.
But it just set the tone, I feel like, so well for the start of this game because things are so dark in Hyrule right now. And it's kind of cool because we don't get a thunderstorm like this again until
later on in the game. That's one thing I hated. Like, I wish they would did more of this. But for being an 8-bit system, this was probably actually kind of difficult. So
it was.
We shouldn't complain too much. But just like I said, I absolutely love that. It sets the mood for the game. And just at that time, did you say this was our first Zelda game we played or not?
I don't remember.
Okay, I try to pay a lot of attention to you, but if we didn't say it was our first Zelda game, it was. We might have said that like, what, 2 minutes ago?
We may have.
Or a minute ago, however long it's been.
It wouldn't be the first time we've repeated ourselves, but how about coming in...
I didn't know where I was going with that.
So
go ahead and take over.
I was going to say, how about we start the game by coming to Hyrule Castle.
Yes, and I love that.
Like, right off the bat, and we are going to revisit this, obviously, later in the game, but it's cool to just, right off the bat, we're like, we have to go save the princess in Hyrule Castle right from the get-go.
And then, like, you see the bottomless pits off to the side, or at least it looks like that.
They look like
That's one thing I never understood about Hyrule Castle. It's like, why does it have these bottomless pits?
I know.
It's just like, not all over the place, but like right here you can see numerous ones. It's like, what kind of castle is this? Well, I mean, the dungeon. You just keep on falling to the dungeon.
Well, I don't really understand why there was a map for this opening, half dungeon. It's a mini dungeon. It's not a full-blown dungeon.
We won't try to spoil we won't try to spoil too much. We do end up doing that sometimes because we just play the game so time, and we know most people have played this game, but we know there's some out there watching this that might not. But we do come back here.
We do
later on, so I guess the map kind of helps out in that sense.
Well, and I kind of get because it is.
It's like Forsaken Fortress.
We
keep on going back there, but you get the map, I believe, in the first part.
Plus, for a lot of people, this was their introduction to a Zelda game. So I guess just learning the exploration, learning your way around, things like that, it wasn't simple like we said, for us, it was our first one. Like, it wasn't so obvious when it was your very first one.
Well, this was a huge Zelda game because, remember, they went to the side view in Zelda 2, and like a lot of people were upset with Zelda 2. I honestly don't think it's that bad of a game.
Oh, yeah,
but,
it's different.
I think a lot of people are thinking, okay, we had top-down view and then a side view. A lot of people were upset with that. Which way is the franchise going? Like,
I'm glad they came back to
is it going to fail? And then they came out with this game, and like we can say the time because it was our first Zelda game. We played it in '92 when it actually came out, and at that time it was just unbelievable.
It was, and I loved getting the boomerang, like, right off the bat, like, just to get a ranged weapon. I know it basically just stuns them instead of really doing damage.
I love anything that stuns an enemy.
Oh, exactly.
That helps me out just a little bit.
But I thought it was great to get it right off the bat, but it was a little weird because most dungeon items we get are in, like, a huge chest.
Yes.
And the boomerang and 1 or 2 items later on, I believe, are also in just regular size chests.
It actually would have been nice to have a big chest right there because you see a bigger chest, you just think you're getting something that's more grand.
Hey, I like seeing a big chest. What can I say?
Well, Yes, me too. Me too.
Sorry, not to totally
I got a couple
distract
of ways
you.
I can go with that. I guess I was going with pregnant wife, so anyways, here we are. We finally got to Zelda, so
how about the
try to
music?
get back on track a little bit.
I'm sorry, I threw this totally off. We gotta throw those jokes
I played
in.
along with it,
Exactly.
so
But like the music that plays right off the bat, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we heard Zelda's theme, or Zelda's like later it becomes Zelda's lullaby and Zelda's theme, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time we heard it. And this theme, well, it's done now, of course, but it sticks with the series all the way through the current times. I love how they've kept that theme for her.
This game did a little bit of that because if you think about it, we've only really had maybe 4 or 5 themes up to this point.
That's a good point. Yep.
We had the original Zelda overworld, the dungeon, so that's 2.
Yeah.
And then Zelda 2, we had the overworld, the towns, and the dungeons.
Yeah.
And there might be another one I'm missing in there. So
probably not
really
many.
Up to this time, we didn't have many musical scores, and so this game, while it didn't have a lot, like you said, it introduced a lot of the music that we saw later on in the series.
And of course, if you've listened to any of our videos, you know how much we love like themes and music in the Zelda games. And just to have ones that from this long ago that stuck all the way through, I thought was really cool.
There's one thing I gotta say: if you have not played this game, quit watching this and go play.
Yes,
you've already clicked, you've already given us the view, so thanks for that. But like, if this is one of the Zelda games you have not played, I know it's hard for sometimes people like maybe a younger generation to go back and play retro 8-bit games when they never actually had that like system available in the first place. But just, it's a great game. Go back and play it if you have.
Well, and I think that's part of why, like we mentioned, this is your second favorite, my favorite game, and part of that is it's cool to see where the series came from because now, except for the handhelds, every game is like the 3D, like behind Link's view.
Yes.
Like think Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess. They have the different perspective, and this really shows you where it all came from. And with the original Zelda as well, with that top-down view, it was like the roots of the series. And for me,
and the story too.
And the story actually sets up.
Although the story was after Ocarina of Time and blah blah blah. But go ahead.
Well, that's actually a good point you bring up, though. Like the story, a little behind the scenes stuff. We just finished commentating Ocarina of Time 3D.
Yes.
Which told the story of how Ganon got imprisoned.
Yeah.
And this game tells the story of how he escapes from being imprisoned.
Yes.
So I'm actually really glad we're going back and commentating this right after Ocarina of Time.
Sorry,
I talked for a while there. I'm sorry.
I was like, I think he's going to finish sometime. I just go sit over here and chill out a little bit.
You set me up for another point I actually really wanted to talk about.
I think we're going to have that, though, as we go through this game. Like, we might just have longer talking points because, like I said, it's very nostalgic for us. Like, this game is going to, like, invoke those memories. Now, we got that a lot with Ocarina of Time, but I think this game is going to do it a little bit more, but I just want to say that throne room right there.
Oh
just
my
for
gosh.
being an 8-bit system, like that thing just had a lot of detail and just very cool looking.
It looked like a throne room. I mean,
yeah, it did, really. I mean, yes.
It looked very nice. I'll tell you one thing I wish that wouldn't have continued in other Zelda games. Dark areas.
Yes, I just hate when my vision's limited. We can see it right here. We'll get some more areas throughout the game that are like that, but just this has always driven me nuts because I always have a hard enough time like hitting enemies and killing them, and like this just makes it harder. So I'm just not a fan.
Well, it doesn't help when you've got the ropes and the keys are relatively fast-moving enemies.
The rats too,
and the rats. And when you're only
they're not fast. They're sneaky.
Yeah,
like you don't think they're sitting there. They're nibbling on whatever they're eating.
Cheese.
You don't think they're going to hit you, and they just take off all of a sudden and nail you.
Well, when they come from outside of the range of your lantern, that's the worst.
Yes,
you don't even have a chance to dodge those guys.
And I know that some dungeons are, well, I know one dungeon in particular that we really dislike later on in the game is because it has a lot of this.
Yep.
And it just, I do hate dark areas in Zelda games, but as long as I can kind of see, my vision's not too obstructed, I don't mind it that much. But yeah, this one just, it makes sense. Yes, you're in the sewers. Yeah, you're in the sewers, and I've never been a fan of this area right here. Actually,
me neither. I think it's well done because you're
not because of the darkness, just like the whole area. I just really never cared for.
I like the concept because you're trying to escape
the concept. I do love the concept.
The sewers, and Zelda's with you the whole time. And thank God she's not like Ruto. We don't have to carry her the whole time, which makes me so happy.
Yes,
but it's just like. It is a cool concept, but you're right. There's just not much to it. It's dark. It's a sewer. I'm not a huge fan.
But like I said, it does make... I didn't have anything after that. I was like, I don't know where to go now. We have a little bit of time left.
Well, actually,
I totally did not laugh at your joke about Princess Ruto either. I was just like...
you weren't paying any attention over
No, I was actually paying attention to you on that one. Just...
Well, it's interesting, though. That last room we were in, you saw there were a couple of cracked walls.
Yes,
obviously we don't have bombs yet.
Well, actually, you can get those another way too. You can use an item later on.
Yep.
Like to kind of run into them. Well, you should know what that is.
Yeah.
By now, but we're actually almost to the sanctuary, and like we both kind of agree on this. Like the music you'll hear here in the sanctuary, and throughout a lot of this game, like yeah, we talked about it brought a lot of musical scores to like the Zelda series.
Yep.
But a lot of the themes are actually pretty good overall too.
They really are. Plus the visuals in here, you get like the stained glass windows and everything.
Yes, love that.
You get the same symbol, I believe, that we pushed out of the way in the throne room is the same symbol right there on that block that we moved.
Yeah.
The fairy. It looks like a fairy, I think.
Yeah, bird, fairy, Loftwing, whatever you want to say. Like I said, but that's a lot of detail for like an 8-bit SNES game at that time, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people think it's one of the best SNES games.
And I like how like the Sanctuary person in Zelda kind of fill you in on a little bit of the story that Ganon is trying to use like the descendants of the sages, which we remember from Ocarina of Time, of course. Use those descendants to free him from the Dark World. Just kind of fills in a little bit of your quest and what we'll be doing the rest of the game.
But at the time, though, this is like the first time we really got any story like within the game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like Zelda 1 and 2, they kind of had a manual. Like
that's where you had to get.
Like it told you a little bit of story, but this is actually the first game where we start getting that story.
Yep.
Even though it wasn't first in the timeline. But anyways, this will go ahead and wrap up part 1 of our 100% walkthrough for Link to the Past.